at Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net Profit. It's Tuesday, Max, March 8th. How you doing today? How was your night? Tell me how it rolled, but
I'm doing well because I can come on the show and be like, yeah, fuck, I won my Santa Clara bet. You know, that's obviously what the majority of our fantastic chat cares about, even though we may not share the same freaking thoughts with it.
true.
Santa Clara scoring 34 points was wonderful. I was a little drunk when it happened, so I wasn't live betting the game like I normally would. But
You drinking?
I was drinking. Yes, I was
Wow.
drinking Jim Beam on the rocks, and I was having a little bit of sip of water when my throat couldn't take it. But I'll tell you this, Connor. You know, when I'm drinking, I don't lie bet. That is bad news. That will be Gus's favorite fucking day of the year. And I'm never going to do anything that Gus likes. Fuck Gus, Connor.
Yeah, we all know how we feel about Gus around here.
Such a
well, I'm glad you had a good day. It was a decent day for me. Obviously, Georgia State, a ton of unders, Max, all over the map, and that game goes over.
Yeah.
What's up?
No, except that one. But you knew.
I know. I just am like, yeah. So, hey, shit is what it is. It's kind of was like, I remember checking all the scores, and I'm just like, are you serious? Are you fucking kidding me? But Santa Clara came through like you talked about. Wilmington won. I can't wait to talk about that game later. Delaware, Wilmington, that should be really, really good. So it's pretty good. For me, it wasn't great. But let's get right into today. Hit me with some of the line movement because just like yesterday, tons of with these conference games, there's line movement all over the place from last night to all the way to right now, 5 Eastern. Let me know what caught your eye.
Yeah, Connor, obviously with some of these games, I have to go from the East Coast times to the West Coast times. And when you look at this game between freaking Marist and Quinnipiac, you know, you don't really think that this is a number that makes sense when it opens at 141.5, and now it's down to as low as 140. So it sort of is making a little more sense now. But if you want to talk about line move on a game, Connor, look no further than the championship game in the aforementioned, much beloved Horizon League. Wright State and Northern Kentucky are going to go battle each other, but that total went from 138 to 134.5, and I can't stop myself from having this feeling like this is Georgia State basketball all over again. So very scary. When we do talk about the game that you probably care the most about in the Delaware Blue Hens versus those UNC Wilmington Seahawks, I do think that we have to mention the total 136.5 down to as low as 132.5 right now. That is some major line movement. That is some fucking high-end lady of the night line movement, okay? That is Dr. Mandy flash me not one, but both of her perfect shaped breasts at me type shit, okay?
Both
Let's get
titties,
back
huh?
to it. We have seen a little bit of line movement for Marshall, Connor. They went from a 2.5 point favorite to as high as 4 right now. That is pretty substantial considering how bad Marshall has been for you if you've been betting them ATS all year. Southern Miss and UTSA, home of Jose Bouquet, the place that he loves and fucking cherishes. He bleeds UTSA, but does he bleed UTSA basketball? Not so sure about that one. That game opened up at 141. Connor is down as low as 138 right now. And the spread has had a slight movement towards UTSA. I think Southern Miss can go in and win that game. But don't let Jose hear me say that. When we do talk about a total that's taken a complete nosedive in a conference that we've been used to and been able to cash many overs with, we go to the Summit League. We go to North Dakota State and South Dakota State. 154 opener down as low as 148. These guys don't have the 3 games in 3 days on their freaking mantle right now. Very interesting line move. Very suspicious. Then, Connor, I got to talk about Gonzaga. You know, Gonzaga was looking good. They were fucking rolling down the highway. They were fucking with their eyes open. And then they started to close their eyes. And then they weren't doing the fucking. They were getting fucked. Shout out to San Francisco for battling. Their game against St. Mary's, which is a huge revenge situational spot, the total went from 141 to 139.5, and the spread opened up at 13.5 in favor of Gonzaga, down to 12.5 right now. So very suspicious line move and very weird situational spot. California Baptist, not Cal Baptist, guys, California Baptist against UT Rio Grande Valley. That total surprisingly went from 149 to right now as low as 146.5. And the spread, not surprisingly, went from 6.5 to as high as 8 right now. Chicago State and Utah Valley, we've seen a slight move towards Chicago State, and I don't blame them. I think that Chicago State is heavily improved. May see it again tonight. When we do look at some of the other games going on, we have to mention Wagner and Bryant. That total opened up at 150.5, got as low as 148. Now we're seeing some buyback on the over, and the spread went from an opener of 2.5 in favor of Bryant to a 4-point spread, and now back down to 3. So both sides in total, we're seeing U-shaped line movement. When it comes to the Big West, Connor, those are the last two conferences, and it's probably close to pretty much in your backyard tonight.
I could walk there. I'm thinking about going.
Walk there.
Yes, okay. The new christened Dollar Loan Center here in Henderson, Nevada. Yep.
Okay, oh, yeah. So Connor, I don't know why you don't have tickets for these games. We'll have to discuss that off air.
I was gonna go. Yeah, I was maybe gonna go tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think tomorrow.
Okay.
But keep going.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this.
We'll discuss it.
Bakersfield and Northridge, we've seen that total open up at 128.5. It's down to 126.5. Do we blame that? Of course we don't. Very understandable line move. The second game, Cal Poly versus UC Davis. This is a little trickier because we know that Cal Poly is an under team. We know that UC Davis can play to a higher tempo. Will they? I have no fucking clue, but the total opened up at 127, went as low as 125.5. So, interesting line moves all over the board, Connor. I'm interested to hear your freaking opinions on these games, and I'm also interested to hear you shout out the fucking best chat on Pub Sports Radio, the fucking Pub Sports Radio chat. Fuck yeah!
Let's get to it. Shout out to the chat here at Pub Sports Radio. Hit the like button. That's all I ask for. So Max might need something later in the show from you, but for me, just hit the like button. We're good to go. We'll have no problems. Chai Archie, what's up? Real Deal Prime, The Grinder, selling his heat pumps. Nuke Worker, Ron Lofton, C. James, Sean Murphy, Andrew G, Okie, what's up, my man? Sam Comer is up in here. What's up, my guy? AJN, James S, Jay Peasy, Talk Sports with JT, Prince of the City, CT Bays in here, T-Mac, Mark Stella, Colton, Bill, how's it going? G Martinez, shout out to everyone. Top set there at the bottom. Shout out to everyone here at Pub Sports Radio in the chat. You never know. Shout out to the Galactic High with the $10 dono. Yeah, my man, this is what I'm talking about. Dono, hit the dono train. Never gets old. I could, you know what? I could hear that like 2 or 3 more times every show, and I'd be in a lot better mood. You know? I don't know about you, but anyways.
I have no problem. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I know. Big. Yeah, I was about to say Bishop probably has no problem ever hitting that bad boy. Shout out to everyone in the chat. There's Kyle. CTATL, J-Ro from What's Up, Ninja 13. Great to see you, my guys. All right, Max, let's get right into these games. Let's just go right down order and number here. We got that Rider game who just kicked off, but let's just touch on this one first in order. Georgia Tech, Louisville. This game doesn't interest me much. Louisville's laying 1.5. The total's 135. I think the total's pretty good. I could only look under. I'm not playing this. What do you like here? Unmute.
With Georgia Tech, Connor, I always like them to get off to a good start. I think that while this team definitely has some issues closing, I do think that they have a good chance of being competitive in this game, at least for 20 minutes. And I think that Georgia Tech can win this first half or keep it tighter. I just think that Georgia Tech has the value here by my betting model. So that's what I'm rolling with. Not going to on it too much.
Sorry, Max.
The
Hell
Dono
no.
Train. Kyle with
Cut
the
us off
$10
anytime.
super sticker donation. Making
talking
Connor
about.
a happy man.
Didn't the second one sound even better? Shout out to Kyle. The Dono, my man.
I can't even imagine
Thank
what
you.
the third one's going to sound like.
Yeah, I think we need a third one. We'll get one. But shout out to Kyle with the $10 Dono. The guy, he's always keeps it real. Thank you for the Dono. We appreciate it here at Pub Sports Radio. Yeah, I want nothing to do with that opening ACC game there, Max. Let's get to the MEAC here. Canisius, Fairfield. This is Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic, New Jersey. Boom! You got to stop now. Top set, $11 Dono. Hit it again. Hit the train.
Dono.
One more. Freddie
Holy crap.
Whew. I'm pumped. I'm hyped. Max, get into this game. Canisius, Fairfield. Fairfield's laying 2.5. This total is 133. This is a total, Max, that kind of stayed. A lot of totals dropping, obviously, in these conference tournaments, like you've talked about, to the under over the years. This line didn't move on the total. Stayed right here at 133. What do you like here in this one?
Yeah, this is a dangerous game to be betting an under on. I think that via the first two games that we've seen these guys play each other, first off, Canisius got some work to do. The underdog is freaking 2-0 in the series. I have to look towards the dog in this game once again. It is difficult, especially in the Metro Atlantic, to beat a team 3 times in a season. And even though this Fairfield team is playing their best basketball now that Caleb Green is back and able to facilitate that offense with Jake Wochuk and Jesus Cruz and Taj Benning, but the difference for Fairfield, if they're going to be able to win this game, is going to be Supreme Cook down low. If he can get going, if he can be effective on both sides of the floor and stay out of foul trouble, Fairfield will give Canisius all they can handle plus some. But I do think that this Canisius team is the unexpected type of team to bring you that outlier performance. Maybe it's Jordan Henderson. Maybe it's Jaco Fritz. This is an older team. They know this is their last shot. Maybe we get a freaking a dying stab to the fucking gut like you'd see on Braveheart. I'm taking Canisius, and I'm very scared to take an under in this game.
Yeah, me too. I don't want anything to do with this game. I didn't like any of these games today. I liked Ryder a little bit, but I didn't love they were laying 2, the game that's off right now, Max. But let's get to this last one. Maybe you have something here. Quinnipiac, Marist, the Red Foxes laying 2.5. There's a few threes even. This total's just come down to 140.5 here. What do you like in this one?
Now, listen, I'm a big fan of what Marist is doing now that they got my guy Raheem Sullivan back in the lineup. Obviously, Marist is coming off a very embarrassing performance against Niagara. And let's be brutally honest, their form has not been good in their trip to Buffalo. So I do hope that they're not ingesting a whole bunch of that New Jersey tap water. And I hope that this is a team that can get Yao Uka into scoring positions. With him and Ricardo Wright, you do see this team be a little more offensive focused, and that's because more of Ricardo Wright. We've seen the splits of him on the floor, off the floor, in a game or at a game. So I do expect to see more drives to the rim, more shots to the free throw line, and a better offensive game for Marist. I think this is a winnable game for them. They're finally playing John Dunn, Red Fox defense. That's been something that they talked about in interviews. I think that if Marist wins this game, Marist's team total may go over, but I don't know about Quinnipiac. We all know that Quinnipiac is a much more dangerous team when they're on their home floor. In the neutral court, don't really have a lot of data on it, except the fact that this is a team that does throw it down low to a guy who turns it over a little too often for my liking. I think that every possession matters, and Marist will do a better job of maintaining, keeping going, and getting one of their 3 or 4 offensive stars on the freaking scoreboard.
Yeah, I think this total, well, just because it's just an attorney, I'd only look under. It's one that, at least at 140, I lean that way a little bit here. Did you have anything on the total? You think you can get over or what?
Yeah, I would lean towards the under in the game. But obviously, without getting the best of the number, that's most important. And I'm a fucking guy that likes to hit these things a little earlier. So,
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, let's keep rolling here. Horizon League here, Wright State, Northern Kentucky. This is a big game here, Max. Northern Kentucky shut down Purdue Fort Wayne. Wright State with the big win. Northern Kentucky beat them both times, I remember. I think by 10 and by 2. What do you like here, Wright State, Northern Kentucky?
Yeah, it's hard not to like this Wright State team in this matchup, considering the circumstances of how the season series went. We say it over and over again. It is hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. You do have to have good ball security, which is something that we can't really say all the time about Wright State. Trey Calvin has had some turnover issues. Obviously, it was not an issue last night. I do think that this Wright State team needs other guys to step up and not be completely reliant on Tanner Holden and Grant Basile. When you see Keaton Norris give you some freaking key free throws and make some key shots late, it does give you a little bit of inspiration. But if this Wright State team gets into foul trouble, they are in trouble. And against Northern Kentucky, let's not be freaking frank about it. They had some issues. And when you look at Wright State's biggest issue was the fact that they had guys picking up fouls that shouldn't pick up fouls. When your point guard fouls out, when your best front court player who's having a fucking monster game fouls out, that shit hurts you. So if Wright State can't clean up some of the fundamentals tonight, then the same thing is going to happen once again. I think that they come out. I think that they beat Northern Kentucky, and I think that they play Northern Kentucky style and tempo type of game.
This one is so interesting to me, Max. I just don't know where to go. It seems like Northern Kentucky has their number with their defense. They have trouble scoring at times, Northern Kentucky. Wright State's defense can be soft. This one's very difficult for me. I'd only take Northern Kentucky. I know the whole 3 times. I don't know if there's so much into that. You can look at it either way. Obviously, Wright State wants revenge. But if they're hot, I think they could beat Northern Kentucky. But Northern Kentucky is going to slow it down. They play the better defense. So I want the better team with the better defense. So I would be on Northern Kentucky in this game if I were on something. Let's keep rolling. Another good one. Let's get to the Colonial Conference Championship game here, Max. Delaware, UNC Wilmington. Delaware's 2, now mostly 2.5, Max. Most places. This total is dropped like you talked about. Surprising, this is 133. We saw low scoring in the Wilmington game yesterday, though. A team that was regularly in the 70s. Championship game, everything gets tighter. And so the number goes down. What do you like here? Delaware, UNC Wilmington.
Well, I like the fact that UNC Wilmington's been able to roll out some decent size with Trezarian White and Amari Kelly at the 4 and 5 spots, so that helps. Obviously, James Baker's played a role in that too. At the end of the day, you just do not get a winning performance from the Seahawks without Jalen Sims and or Mike Okoro having outlier type games, and I think that the formula is very simple when you're betting the Seahawk team. You take their opponent first half and you take them full game and and you bet them again at halftime. I don't see why this situation is any different. I do recognize that the Blue Hens are going to be able to take advantage of this front court of Wilmington with Dylan Painter. He is definitely recovered from the ankle. We saw multiple dunks by him and some pretty freaking outlandish behavior that indicates that he is ready to go. So Delaware, what I think that is the biggest thing for them is getting off to a good start like they did against Towson, but getting their guys in the backcourt more involved. Jameer Nelson was able to sit down for most of the second half, so I do expect him to get fed the ball early and often to get him in a good rhythm, and it starts with him. He's their best perimeter player. The way that he dunks is completely different than his dad. The hops that he has, the ability to hang in the air, that is how you score buckets and get to the free throw line in this type of basketball. I think that you're going to see a Wilmington team that attempts to slow this game down. I think that the Blue Hens are going to oblige to that. We saw the Blue Hens walk the ball up the floor numerous times last night. I don't expect that to change. And I think that the second half is going to be quite spirited. I just hope that I have a big freaking big barrier to protect myself with if this game gets extended by free throws. So I like Delaware early. I like Wilmington late. And I like under basketball once again.
Yeah, this might have gone down. I still think it could stay under, but yeah, like it's come down already to 133. And it seems like this was regular season, Max. This could be in the 140s, this total. And real quick, I'm with you. The Delaware team, I take first half. I know Wilmington won the first half yesterday by what, a point or two? But for the most part, was it tied? Oh, okay. I thought they were up by one.
My bad. I read it wrong. It was 28-26.
28-26. But for the most part, I would take Delaware first half. And then Wilmington, they've been a great team second half, hitting them live, hopefully catching even a better number than the 2.5. So I agree here with you this one. I don't do these too much, first half, second half crap. But in this game, I'd look to bet it that way as well with you. So let's keep rolling here. Conference USA, Marshall, Florida International. Marshall's 3.5 point favorites here now. This total's 147.5. Sorry, basically everywhere. Do you have anything in this one, Marshall, FIU?
Yeah, no, I like the under in the game. I just can't trust FIU's offense as of late. We've seen time and time again now with this FIU team struggling to get into the 70s. And we're only talking about a team that just, I don't even know, 2 weeks ago were a consistent team getting into fucking 70-point plus plateau. Now we've seen that fucking turn off. Obviously, it's been due in part to the level of competition. And with Marshall, there is a good case to make that they do match up well against them. When we talk about Marshall, this is a team that obviously really steps up their scoring production later on in the game. They're a team that I've been able to regularly bet against on their team totals in the first half. And I don't think that this is another situation that I can freaking avoid doing that again. When I see 35.5 or 36.5 on a team total, that is just too high for me for Marshall on the road without the 3-point shooting that we've been able to count on in the past. I think that with Tavion Kinsey and Andrew Taylor, you do have a good 1-2 tandem. You do have enough size to at least battle on the glass and stop FIU from extending a ton of possessions. But I don't think that they get past that 35.5 point plateau in the first half. That's the way I'd have to look at it. And I'd have to look at the full game under with FIU's scoring output performance recently. And that's what matters. Not what happened in November, Connor. What's been going on lately?
Yeah, no, they can't score. And obviously, they don't play very good defense. They're a team I want nothing to do with right now. So I took in a few of their overs this last couple weeks. No way. They're struggling shooting. I don't want anything to do with it. All right, let's get to this next one. You mentioned your Southern Miss, UTSA. UTSA's 3.5 point favorites. This total's come down, Max, 141 to 138. There's a 138.5 out there. What do you like here, Southern Miss, UTSA?
Yeah, Connor, obviously with Southern Miss, I've talked about how I like Tyler Stevenson, Isaiah Moore's length, but it goes deeper than that with Southern Miss. They've been able to put on some pretty decent offensive performances for their standards, being able to push Rice into that overtime game and really being able to utilize the freaking quality that you get with guys like DeAndre Pickney. DeAndre Pickney obviously is a third wheel, but a guy that makes a big difference. And if Tyler Stevenson isn't in the lineup, he is that much more important tonight. We saw how they played against Charlotte without Stevenson in the lineup. They do need him in there. I'm not sure if he's going to play. To add on to that, Jerron Pierre Jr. is also questionable. And if you don't have those two guys to go along with the fact that you just lost Mo Arnold and you've already lost Ty Hardy for the season, it's a wait and see situation. I understand if you get on UTSA right now, it would make sense, but I want to know what the status of probably Southern Miss's two out of their top 4 best offensive players that's available right now. I want to know what their status is. If they're playing, I'm on Southern Miss. If they're not, I'm taking UTSA first half.
Okay, shout out to the chat. We only got 58 likes. If you haven't hit the like button, we got over 160 in here. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. Let's get to this one, Max. The championship game should be a good one. North Dakota State, South Dakota State. South Dakota State's laying 6. What have they won? 20 over 20 in a row. This team is humming. Man, they can shoot the rock. You talked about this total dropping, but has it dropped too much? Now here at 148.5. Man, this should be a good game. What do you like here?
Yeah, no, I think that we've gone to the point that we do have to start looking at that first half over when it comes to this game. But my go-to has been, what do I know? What do I trust? I know that this team is going to hit jump shots. I know that they're going to hit contested ones. I know they're going to hit open ones. I know that aside from Zeke Mayo, they're going to have trouble breaking guys down on the wings to get to the bucket. But that's why you have Doug Wilson, and you have Doug Wilson's interior passing that he is quite good at. Yes, he is sometimes a liability at the free throw line, but a lot of big men are. I think that South Dakota State definitely forces the Bison into playing a higher tempo. And with the Bison, I do think what plays in their factor is having all that size at the guard position, guys that are able to freaking close out a little better. And I think that as long as they can avoid falling into those awkward fouling situations, they should be able to keep this game closer at times. But like South Dakota faced yesterday, if you don't get off to a good start versus the Jackrabbits, not only are the Jackrabbits going to cover that very puny 2.5 or 3 points on the first half, that 35.5 or 36 on their first half team total seems like a foregone conclusion that that's going over. I personally think that South Dakota State's best value is with their team totals. Focus on them and not what their opponent's going to do. And then secondly, I think that South Dakota State, with how fierce this team is and where it is location-wise, I do think that first half on the spread is a solid number that you can even sell some points on, Connor.
Yeah, I agree. I'd stick to the team total in this game as well. I think South Dakota State wins, but I'd be leery of the 6 max full game. I think they're not good defensively, but they just make a ton of shots, so that helps out for them. But North Dakota State's played them tough, over the last few years, especially.
I agree. Yeah. I agree there, but I'll tell you, by my power rankings, I have 27 spots in between these two guys. So
yeah, that's probably right though.
Difference.
Yeah. We will see. It's like sometimes they just hook up this rivalry. Yeah, you kind of throw that out the window. But yeah, so do I. I think South Dakota State's well above them as well. Let's get to this one, the big one of the night, Axe, right here, Orleans Arena in Vegas. St. Mary's, Gonzaga. Gonzaga's a 12.5 point. They opened 13.5. It's down to 12.5. Total just moved a point. It's basically 140 everywhere. What do you like here, Gonzaga, St. Mary's?
It makes me sick to think that I'm not going to be on Gonzaga full game, but I'm not going to be Connor. I'm not going to be Connor. I like Gonzaga first half, though. It's a great situational spot to take them first half. First off, They're coming off a loss to them. That's going to be fucking quick in their memory. And if this team is meant for freaking beyond the second weekend, they will win this game. They will come out and dominate like they did against San Fran. I think that it starts with Andrew Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard has to understand what he's going to do with the basketball. Don't freaking put your teammates in positions where they got to settle for jump shots or they have no other option but to take that jump shot late in the clock. He's got to be more aggressive, taking it to the bucket. We know what type of length he has, and that 3-step to the bucket is very good. Plus, he has shown an ability to freaking go to the left and right side, even though I like it better when he goes to the right. Obviously, with Drew Timme, he's got to be able to call for the ball more. If you're gonna get slowed down by St. Mary's in the freaking half court, then you need to clear the side out for Timme, and you need to let Timme go up and under Matthias Tass, because he will do that all day. He doesn't have the foot speed to stay with Timme. And then when you talk about Holmgren, I just don't want to see him shooting threes. I don't know why he's bothering with this. He's a 7-footer that can dunk on anybody in this conference. Go in and get your fucking dunks, kid. So I think Gonzaga is going to be mad early. I don't know if they can sustain it. They weren't able to against San Francisco. And I want nothing to do with the total, because it just seems like a number that seems too good to be true with a Gonzaga total.
Yeah, and if you're right, because I lean to St. Mary's, but if you think Gonzaga is going to come out hot here in the first half, I just wait and get maybe a better number, in the first half or at halftime, get more than this 12.5 and then maybe hit it. As you've seen, it's happened lately, did last night in some of these games. Gonzaga, they ease up if they're up by 20, or 18, this could it could be a 10-point game in the end. But it should be interesting because St. Mary's was the only team that kind of took it to them all, since the early on, where they had a loss or two. What was it? Forget where Gonzaga lost. Remind me if you can remember. But they obviously went through the West Coast Conference with ease before they had to go back-to-back road games. Should be a good one. I can't wait to watch it. Let's get to the next one here, Max. UT Rio Grande Valley, California Baptist. Here, Max, they're laying 7.5. Totals 147. What do you like here?
Yeah, this is a spot where I'm surprised that the total's gone down. I do think that with UT Rio Grande Valley, they are going to give you a lot of opportunities to score the basketball. And the biggest question for them is going to be, how bad is their defense going to be? We know that they have probably one of the most putrid inside the arc defenses, definitely in the WAC, probably on the entire West Coast. But what they do a good job of is chasing guys off the 3-point line. But when I look at this roster, I'm finally confident that they're not going to run out of players and need to go to a student manager to be a fifth player, but you're going to need a good offensive performance from Justin Johnson. He's your best player at his size at 6'6". He really does whatever he wants on the court. And if he can be effective, it just makes everybody else's job easier with Laquan Butler, with Quentin Johnson, with freaking Merrick Nelson, Ricky Nelson. These guys are all going to be able to feed off of that. If UT Rio Grande Valley brings their best, then they got a shot. Otherwise, California Baptist is going to eat off of them. California Baptist is at their healthiest. They're at their most functional. They're at their deepest right now. And when you talk about having a bulldog like Daniel Atkin in the front court, that just freaking gets me all freaking hyped and excited. Obviously, we've seen some of his lower quality moments, but when you could bring Reed Notich off the bench, when you have my fellow Canadian Ty Roel in the lineup with Elijah Thomas, I'm good with that. And Conor, not to mention, I like certain Aussies, and with the Armstrong brothers, those are two Aussie brothers I like a lot.
Okay, I'm with you here, Max. I would only lay it with California Baptist. I don't love the 7.5, on a neutral floor, but like you talked about, they're at their healthiest. I think they can take care of Rio Grande Valley here, especially they play their game, they can cover this number. So I lean that way strongly. Let's get to the next one. Chicago State, Utah Valley. Utah Valley's laying 12.5. This total's 132.5. Utah Valley kind of stumbled at the end of the year. Can they still take care of business though tonight, Max, laying this big number?
Yeah, no, I'm all about Chicago State early. I'm willing to definitely give them the benefit of the doubt. This Chicago State team that I've been able to freaking butcher, take advantage of, literally freaking roofie on a nightly basis, and they come back for more. Listen, their numbers and rankings within freaking Division One are not going to be impressive, but you have to watch and see the quality that you're getting. And what I see tonight is a team that can score 60 points. I'm not saying they can win. I think that they're definitely valued to me as a first half underdog, like they were in their game against Seattle. I think that starts with having a guy like Bryce Johnson off the bench and healthy to go along with what you do inside and out with Deshaun Corbett and Brandon Betson. It's rare for me to have any respectful things to say about Chicago State, but I'm going once again back to their team total over. Chirp me as much as you want, and I'm taking them first half because I think that they'll be competitive for 20.
What was their team total?
60.5. That's available right now. I got 59.5 because I'm smart.
Good. That's why his name is Maxwell Smart. There we go. All right.
It also is Inspector Gadget's name.
It is.
But we won't get into that one.
All right, let's get to this one. Dollar Loan Center, Henderson, Nevada. Big West Conference, Max. Right down the road here from me. Bakersfield, Northridge. Bakersfield's laying 6 now. I didn't take this last night, and I should have with Bakersfield at the 4.5, Max, because I think they can take care of Northridge here. Now that it's 6, a little less interested. The total's 127. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, I'm on Bakersfield. I got them at 5, and I got the under 128. That's as simply put as I can go on this game. While CSUN may be able to fucking break up my dreams and my parlays in past games, this is a do or die situation. While Bakersfield has been absolutely putrid on the fucking spread for their backers, it's a brand new season, baby, and they coming for your chocha. Fuck you, Northridge.
All right. Let's get to the next one, the late night one there. Cal Poly Slow versus UC Davis. Davis is laying 5.5, 6. Now, low total here, Max. 125, 125.5. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, listen, Cal Poly's done a decent job of fucking scoring the basketball the last couple games, and that's very strange to say, but now they got to fucking leave the confines of their fucking home arena. They got to bring that fucking terrible assist to turnover ratio onto the road, and they have to pray that freaking Almani Karoma has a big game on the glass and scoring. I think that when we look at this group, obviously without having fucking Davison in the lineup hurts them, but they've been able to freaking get through it. I look for guys like freaking Cameron Pierce and Brantley Stevenson to fucking have impactful performances off their freaking pine, but these guys may be starting. You just never know with this Cal Poly team. At the end of the day, though, this is a team that definitely can surprise you with a multitude of different guys having outlier games. But if you can hit a goddamn 3 versus them, then you can beat them. That's pretty much how I look at Cal Poly. And with UC Davis, this is a team that has struggled without Damian Squire in the lineup on this team for them, but it comes down to Ezra Manjun and Elijah Pepper. If Ezra Manjun can facilitate the basketball, not have some 3 for 15 type shooting game with a bunch of turnovers, then they'll be fine. But if their 2 best players are going to go combine 6 for 27 from the field, that just is not going to freaking work in this game. That's not going to work at this number. And even against this opponent, it's not going to work. They need a good first half. They need a dominant defensive first half. And if they get it, UC Davis will be on their way to advancing and probably covering the spread tonight.
I think so too. That was my lean initially looking at this. It's not my top play, but I'd lay it if I had to. All right, let's get to the big one here, Max. Wagner, Bryant. Bryant's laying 3 in this one. Championship game here. What do you think? This total stayed about put, Max. At 150, there's some 149, maybe a half point. It's dropped 149 and a half. We know Wagner's lost their guard, one of their best players, their senior Ford. This seems like it'd be close, though. What do you think, though? Bryant, you trust him laying it, or are you going with Wagner here?
No, I took Bryant minus 2.5 on the opener, Connor, because with Bryant, the issue for them against Wagner in the past has not been guards that can take advantage of their size. It's just consistency. With this Wagner team, yes, they're going to be a little freaking predictable when it comes to planning defensively. And the easiest way to nullify their advantage inside is to zone up on them. So that would probably lead to less possessions in this game than we're accustomed to. I would not be surprised to see a lower scoring first half in this game with Bryant doing some domination. I think that when you look at Bryant, Adim Alita, a fellow Canadian of mine, Connor, from Toronto, Ontario, he is the most effective, dynamic 3-point shooter, and I'm afraid that if I got into a fight with him, he would knock me out and kick me in the face. So this is a dude that plays with some fucking attitude, fits in very well with Peter Kiss, who is literally one freaking step away from getting teed and kicked out of a game, but he is the nation's best scorer. He will be this game's best scorer. Bryant will fuck with their eyes open. They will support all the fucking local strippers on the Eastern Seaboard, and it will be wonderful, Connor. It will be wonderful. They're not going to lose twice. They're not going to lose 2 years in a row on their home floor in the championship.
Yeah.
Game. I don't buy it. Smithfield,
that's the only thing.
Island is too good for that.
Yeah, with him out, with Ford out, and then it's 3. I think it could be close. But, I mean, they're going to lose on their home floor again. Yeah, I lean under. I mean, there could be points and it could read, but I just think it's high. At some point, it's got to slow down, maybe in the second half. Did you say there might be points early?
No, I say that it may be lower scoring early and higher scoring late.
Yeah, anyways, with 150, that's the only way I play that game. All right, Max, great work, as always. Let's get a word from, by the way, chat. Give me a few more. We need just like 10 more. Get to a hundo. Get it. Hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back in a minute. Let's get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with best bets. Get it. Boom. If you're in the San Antonio area, head to Southtown 101, best bar in the city. You know the rest. Go to mybookie.ag at promo code PubSports. Use the Bitcoin. Transfer it. Best shit. And go to manscaped.com. 20% off promo code PubSports. Get the Lawnmower 4.0, but get the whole kit that comes with it. You get 20% off. I think it's like $50. You get everything. Ball deodorant, all the good shit that comes with it, or all the crap, lotion, all that stuff. Get it. And also get the pub rub. Rub your meat. Get your meat seasoned, your chicken, your ribs, your steak. It's great shit. Go to pubsportsradio.com while you're there. Cop one of our t-shirts. Support us. Support the Pub Sports Radio. And shout out to everyone. We need the thumbs up. That's the least that people can do. But shout out to all the donos today. Doc, they got the train rolling. It always gets me hyped. So shout out to everyone that donated. Appreciate you guys. All right, Max. What are you on here tonight, my man?
Yeah, obviously, you guys could probably predict where I'm going if you guys were to guess. I'm going to the late game once again. I'm going to Chicago State, Connor. Can you guess where I'm going? Listen, I do think that the first half team total of 27.5 is pretty nice, pretty obtainable, pretty cashable, but it is pretty juicy. So I am going to reluctantly take for the show Chicago State team total over 60.5. Don't fail me, Chicago State. Don't fail me or don't show up tomorrow.
Yeah, come on, Chicago State. Get your shit together and get it done. All right, Max, I was looking at a few. Some of these games are tough, Delaware, Wilmington, Wright State, Northern Kentucky today. I'm going to lay it. I know it's not the best in the number, but there's still sevens, or there are 7.5s. Lay it with California Baptist. I think they get the job done tonight. That was one of my better looks from last night today. So I'm sticking with it. That's my best bet. California Baptist lay the 7.5. All right, shout out to the chat. Any last words of the chat, Max, before we dip?
Yeah, listen, guys. I don't know why I have to even repeat this anymore, but dip your chicken tenders in honey. Leave the honey mustard at the counter. Don't fucking let the person behind the plexiglass who's trying to protect themselves from COVID, aka the flu, and just make sure that you're fucking dipping them twice, 3 times. Don't worry about it. It's not the same rule for chips and dip, okay? You dip them as many times as you bite into that chicken tender. And Connor, this is a message for you. Leave your house, abandon your family, and go watch some college basketball at fucking that beautiful new arena.
I am. I think I'm going to go tomorrow, though, instead of tonight's games. But, yeah, I think I'm going to go tomorrow's. Is going to be a little bit better. But great work. Let's get out of here. We got a couple more. Hit the like button on the way out so we get the 100. We appreciate you. He's a great Maxwell Smart. I'm Conor Mack. We're out of here. See you tomorrow. We be popping! Peace!